Welcome to Ancient Spiritual Knowledge. I'm your host, Paige Carter. As we delve deeper into the heart of the earth, into the bosom of Gaia, we must tread with reverence and humility. For beneath the surface of our mundane reality lies an intricate web of knowledge as old as the planet itself, interwoven with the threads of every living being that has ever existed. It is a wisdom that has been whispered by the winds, murmured by the rivers, and etched into the bark of ancient trees. This knowledge, this ancient wisdom, is not just about the earth as we know it. It's about the spirit of the earth, the life force that breathes and pulses beneath our feet, that nourishes every blade of grass and every towering oak. This is the wisdom of Gaia, the primal goddess who personifies the earth, the ancestral mother of all life. Ancient cultures revered Gaia, not as a metaphorical concept, but as a living, conscious entity. They believed that the earth was a sentient being with its own thoughts, emotions, and wisdom. They listened to her, respected her, and lived in harmony with her cycles and moods. It is this belief, this profound connection with the earth, that we have lost in our modern world. Yet, the wisdom of Gaia is not lost. It lies dormant, waiting to be awakened. It speaks to us in the rustling of leaves, the gurgling of brooks, the roar of the ocean, inviting us to remember, to reconnect, to return to our roots. Alongside Gaia, ancients also recognized the existence of the elementals, the spirits of air, fire, water, and earth. These spirits, they believed, were the fundamental forces that shaped the physical world. The elementals were not just abstract principles or symbolic representations. They were living entities, each with their own personalities, desires, and wisdom. The sages of yore did not just learn about the elementals. They communed with them. They experienced the fluidity of water, the stability of earth, the spontaneity of fire, and the freedom of air. They understood that these forces were not separate from them, but were part of their very essence. The wisdom of Gaia and the elementals is a call to awaken our dormant abilities, to remember our sacred connection with the earth and her forces. It is a call to return to a way of living that honors the earth, not as a resource to be exploited, but as a living entity to be revered and protected. It is a call to remember that we are not separate from the earth, but are a part of her, born from her, sustained by her, and destined to return to her. This is the wisdom of the ages, the timeless truth that we are all children of Gaia, eternally connected to her and each other. This is the spirit of the earth. Delving back into the mists of time, the reverence for Gaia and the elementals traces its origins to the cradle of civilization itself. In ancient Greece, Gaia was venerated as the great mother of all, the eternal earth from which sprang the cosmos. The earliest recorded mention of her is found in Hesiod's Theogony, a genealogy of the gods written around the 8th century BCE. In this seminal work, Gaia is described as the first entity to emerge from the primordial chaos, birthing the sky, the mountains, and the sea. The ancient Greeks didn't view Gaia as an abstract concept, but as a living, breathing entity whose spirit imbued every rock, every tree, every stream. Temples were erected in her honor, sacrifices made, and oracle centers, such as the one at Delphi, were considered to be her sacred places, where her wisdom could be deciphered. Parallel to this, in the pre-Christian Celtic cultures of Western Europe, the reverence for elementals was strong. The Celts, like many indigenous cultures, believed in a plethora of nature spirits, each governing a specific element. These spirits were known by various names: the Sylvesters of the woods, the Undines of the waters, the Salamanders of fire, and the Gnomes of the earth. These entities were not merely worshipped, they were consulted, appeased, and invited to participate in the everyday life of the community. This wisdom of Gaia and the elementals was not confined to the West. Far across the world, the ancient Vedic texts of India echo similar sentiments. The Rig Veda, one of the oldest texts known to humanity, repeatedly refers to the earth as a goddess, a mother, a nurturer. The 5 great elements, or Pancha Mahabhutas, of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, are central to Vedic cosmology, forming the basis for Ayurveda, the traditional system of medicine. These ancient cultures, despite their geographical distances, shared a similar understanding of the earth and her forces. They created intricate cosmologies where humans, nature, and the divine were inseparable. They understood the rhythms of nature, the cycles of life and death, and the delicate balance that sustains the planet. They lived not as masters of the earth, but as her children, her caretakers, her partners. Over the centuries, this wisdom was passed down, sometimes openly, sometimes in secret, through mystery schools, oral traditions, and sacred texts. It survived the rise and fall of empires, the spread of monotheism, the advent of science, and the birth of the modern world. Today, as we stand on the brink of environmental catastrophe, this ancient wisdom calls us back, urging us to remember our roots, to reconnect with the earth, to rekindle our relationship with the elementals, and to reclaim our rightful place in the circle of life. At the heart of these ancient teachings lies a profound understanding of interconnectedness, an ecological consciousness that predates modern environmental sciences by millennia. The earth is seen not as an inanimate object, but as a living being, a mother, a provider, a teacher. This is the essence of Gaia, a divine feminine force that nurtures and sustains all life. From the smallest microorganism to the largest mammal, from the humblest pebble to the mightiest mountain, everything is part of Gaia. Everything shares her life force, her spirit. In this worldview, the divine is not confined to heavens or temples, but permeates every aspect of the world. The divine is in the wind that rustles the leaves, in the fire that warms the hearth, in the water that quenches thirst, in the earth that yields food. The divine is within us and around us, in our breath, our thoughts, our actions. This is the wisdom of the elementals, the fundamental energies that constitute and govern the natural world. The ancient symbols associated with Gaia and the elementals are rich in meaning. The spiral, for instance, is a universal symbol of life's cyclic journey. The 4 cardinal directions often represent the elementals, each with its own qualities and teachings: east for air, intellect, and new beginnings; south for fire, passion, and transformation; west for water, emotions, and introspection; north for earth, stability, and wisdom. The circle, the most sacred of all symbols, denotes the unity and interconnectedness of all life. These teachings offer a unique view of the human soul. In this tradition, the soul is not separate from the body or the world, but is deeply entwined with them. The journey of the soul is not a quest for salvation or transcendence, but a path of embodiment, of deepening our connection with the earth and the elementals, of learning to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. The teachings of Gaia and the elementals urge us to challenge the anthropocentric worldview, to recognize that we are not the center of the universe, but a small part of a vast, intricate web of life. They invite us to see the earth not as a resource to be exploited, but as a sacred trust to be honored and protected. They remind us that every action has consequences, that we are accountable for our choices, that we bear a great responsibility towards the earth and all its inhabitants. As we grapple with the challenges of our time, these ancient teachings offer a beacon of hope, a roadmap for the future. They call us to awaken our ecological consciousness, to revitalize our relationship with the earth, to reclaim our sense of wonder and reverence for the natural world. In the spirit of Gaia and the wisdom of the elementals, we may yet find the courage to navigate the path ahead, to create a world that honors the sacredness of all life. The wisdom of Gaia and the elementals was not merely intellectual knowledge, to be learned and debated. It was a lived wisdom, to be experienced and embodied through ritual and practice. From the dawn of human consciousness, our ancestors acknowledged the sacredness of the earth and the elementals through a rich tapestry of ceremonies, meditations, chants, and initiations. Consider the ceremony. These were not empty formalities, but powerful acts of communion with the natural world. They served to align the human community with the rhythms of nature, to attune the individual's soul to the heartbeat of the earth. Each ceremony was a dialogue with the elementals, a dance with the forces of life. The lighting of a fire, the pouring of water, the scattering of seeds, the blowing of a conch shell. Each action was a symbolic gesture, a tangible expression of reverence and gratitude, a means of invoking and honoring the presence of Gaia and the elementals. Meditation, too, was an integral part of this tradition. It was a practice of inner stillness, of deep listening, of cultivating awareness. Through meditation, one could enter into a direct, experiential relationship with the earth and the elementals, could come to perceive the subtle energies and rhythms that animate the natural world. Here, in the silence and the stillness, one could hear the whisper of the wind, the heartbeat of the earth, the song of the river, the crackle of the fire. Chant was another important practice. In many cultures, the voice was considered a powerful tool for healing and transformation. Through chant, one could resonate with the frequencies of the earth and the elementals, could weave a sonic web of connection, of belonging. Each syllable, each note, each vibration was an invocation, a prayer, a celebration of the sacredness of life. Initiation rites, too, played a crucial role. These were transformative experiences designed to awaken the individual to the profound interconnectedness of all life, to instill a deep sense of responsibility towards the earth and the elementals. Through these rites, one was not merely learning about the wisdom of Gaia, but was becoming a living embodiment of it. Each ritual, each practice, each initiation was a step on the path of ecological consciousness, a bridge between the human and the more than human world. They served to remind us of our place within the great web of life, of our intimate connection with the earth and the elementals. They invited us to see the world not as a collection of separate objects, but as a living, breathing, sentient being, of which we are an integral part. Through these practices, we could learn to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature, to honor the sacredness of all life, to walk gently upon the earth. Hidden within the rituals, practices, and initiations of ancient wisdom are layers of profound meaning and esoteric symbolism. These symbols and signs were not arbitrary, but encoded with sacred truths that the initiated could decipher. They were the language through which Gaia and elementals communicated their wisdom, a language that transcended the limitations of human speech and entered the realm of the divine. In the architecture of ancient temples, we find the golden ratio, a mathematical principle that reflects the inherent harmony and balance of the natural world. This ratio is found everywhere in nature, in the spiral of a shell, in the arrangement of seeds in a sunflower, in the proportions of a tree. By incorporating this ratio into their sacred spaces, our ancestors were aligning themselves with the harmonious rhythms of the earth, were resonating with the sacred geometry of the cosmos. In sacred texts, too, we find a wealth of esoteric symbolism. The tree of life, for example, is a motif found in many different cultures. It symbolizes the interconnectedness of all life, the cycles of birth, growth, death, and rebirth. It is a symbol of the living earth, the divine life force that flows through every creature, every rock, every stream. Mythology, similarly, is ripe with esoteric symbolism. Consider the phoenix, the mythical bird that dies in fire and is reborn from its own ashes. This is not merely a tale of magical creatures, but a metaphor for the cyclical nature of life, the eternal dance of destruction and creation. It is a symbol of transformation, of the capacity for rebirth that lies within each of us, a reminder of the impermanence of physical form and the immortality of the spirit. The wisdom of Gaia and the elementals is not confined to words and ideas. It is a lived wisdom, a wisdom that is embodied, that is experienced, that is felt. It is a wisdom that is encoded in the very fabric of the universe, in the patterns and rhythms of the natural world, in the cycles of the seasons, in the movement of the stars, in the ebb and flow of the tides. It is a wisdom that is whispered in the rustle of the leaves, that is sung in the melody of the birds, that is danced in the swirl of the wind, that is painted in the colors of the sunset. Esoteric symbolism is a bridge between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, the human and the divine. It is a language of the soul, a language of mystery and magic, a language of intuition and imagination. It is a language that invites us to look beyond the surface, to delve into the depths, to explore the hidden realms of the spirit. It is a language that speaks to our deepest longing for connection, for meaning, for transcendence, for wholeness. It is a language that echoes the ancient wisdom of Gaia, the timeless teachings of the elementals, the eternal truth of the spirit of the earth. The mystical journey of seekers over centuries often led them to altered states of consciousness, where they could commune with the divine essence of Gaia and the elementals. These experiences were not limited to dreams or visions. They were profound spiritual awakenings, transformative encounters with the sacred that forever altered the course of their lives. Take, for instance, the ritual practices of the indigenous peoples of North America, who used sacred plants like peyote and tobacco to induce trance states and commune with the spirits of the earth. Or consider the shamans of Siberia, who would enter into ecstatic trances through drumming and dancing, journeying to the spirit world to seek healing and wisdom. Similarly, the mystics of medieval Europe sought divine communion through intense prayer and meditation, often experiencing visions of the divine. The Sufis of Islam, too, used music and dance to induce states of divine ecstasy. Even in our modern world, many seekers turn to practices like yoga, meditation, and breathwork to quiet the mind and open the heart, creating a space for the divine to enter. These experiences, diverse as they may be, share a common thread. They all involve a journey inward, a turning away from the external world, and a diving into the depths of the self. They all involve a dissolution of the ego, a surrender of the self to the divine. They all involve a moment of transcendence, a breaking free from the bonds of time and space, a stepping into the eternal now. They also share a common goal. They all aim to awaken the inner eye, to open the heart to the divine, to attune the self to the rhythms of the universe. They all aim to cultivate a sense of wonder, a sense of awe, a sense of humility in the face of the divine. They all aim to embody the wisdom of Gaia, to live in harmony with the elementals, to honor the spirit of the earth. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to confront the shadows within. It requires a willingness to let go of all that is familiar, to venture into the unknown, to embrace the mystery. It requires a willingness to surrender, to trust, to open oneself to the infinite possibilities of the spirit. Yet, for those who dare to embark on this journey, the rewards are immeasurable. For in the depths of the self, in the silence of the heart, in the stillness of the mind, they find a treasure beyond all imagining. They find a sense of peace, a sense of joy, a sense of unity with all life. They find a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning, a sense of belonging in the cosmos. They find the wisdom of Gaia, the power of the elementals, the spirit of the earth. They find, in short, the divine within. As the ages turned, however, this sacred wisdom began to face suppression and secrecy. With the rise of institutional religions and dominant political structures, the ancient understanding of Gaia and the elementals was gradually obscured. Authorities, fearing the potential for individual empowerment that such knowledge bestowed, began to outlaw these practices. Rituals and ceremonies celebrating the divine in nature were branded as heretical, forcing many to retreat into the shadows, hiding their practices for fear of persecution. The wisdom of Gaia, once a shared heritage of humanity, became forbidden knowledge. The reverence for the earth and its elemental forces was replaced with an anthropocentric worldview that saw nature as a resource to be exploited rather than a sacred entity to be revered. The voices of the elementals were silenced, their messages ignored. The spirit of the earth was forgotten. Yet, despite this suppression, the wisdom of Gaia never completely vanished. It persisted, hidden in plain sight, encrypted in folklore, myth, and legend. It whispered its secrets to those who dared to listen, to those who had the courage to venture beyond the boundaries of the known. Throughout the centuries, there were many who kept the flame of this ancient wisdom burning. Mystics, scholars, and secret societies became the custodians of this forbidden knowledge, safeguarding it for future generations. They encoded their wisdom in symbols and allegories, in parables and fables, in sacred texts and architectural designs. They created initiatory paths designed to awaken the inner eye, to attune the self to the rhythms of the universe, to reconnect the human with the divine. In more recent times, the wisdom of Gaia has begun to resurface. Archaeologists, anthropologists, and historians have unearthed artifacts, texts, and structures that hint at this ancient understanding. Scholars have begun to decipher these clues, piecing together the fragments of this forgotten wisdom. Simultaneously, spiritual seekers, disillusioned with the materialism and disconnection of the modern world, have begun to rediscover the ancient practices of attuning to the rhythms of the earth and communing with the elementals. They have found, in the wisdom of Gaia, a path back to wholeness, a way to heal the rift between the human and the divine. These seekers are not alone. Across the globe, indigenous cultures have preserved their ancestral wisdom, continuing to honor the spirit of the earth and the power of the elementals. Their voices, long ignored, are now being heard, their wisdom recognized. Thus, despite centuries of suppression and secrecy, the wisdom of Gaia and the elementals has endured. It has survived, waiting patiently for the time when humanity would once again be ready to listen, to remember, and to return to the spirit of the earth. In an ever-accelerating world, where technology and artificial constructs often overshadow natural rhythms, the wisdom of Gaia and the elementals offers a beacon of solace and guidance. The modern seeker, confronted with the existential questions that arise amidst the chaos of the 21st century, finds in these ancient teachings a roadmap towards inner peace, holistic health, and a sense of deep interconnectedness with all life. Consider the practice of grounding or earthing, a simple act of connecting one's body with the earth, typically by walking barefoot on natural surfaces. This act, as mundane as it may seem, is rooted in the ancient belief of Gaia's healing power. Modern science now corroborates this, suggesting that direct contact with the earth can neutralize free radicals and reduce inflammation. This is but one example of how the wisdom of Gaia continues to inform and influence modern wellness practices. Moreover, the ancient understanding of the elementals, the spirits embodying earth, air, fire, and water, provides a framework for understanding the interconnectedness of all things. In an era grappling with environmental crisis, this perception can guide us towards more sustainable practices, fostering a profound respect for the natural world and our place within it. The teachings of Gaia also offer tools for nurturing consciousness and balance. Many spiritual seekers today are turning to practices such as meditation, sound healing, and energy work, all of which are influenced by the ancient wisdom of the earth. These practices aim to attune the individual to the subtle energies of the universe, promoting a sense of oneness and harmony with the cosmos. In the realm of consciousness, the wisdom of Gaia and the elementals reminds us of the importance of journeying inward. The modern seeker learns that true wisdom and healing come from within, from the silent spaces of the soul where one can commune with the spirit of the earth. This internal exploration, guided by ancient wisdom, can awaken deep insight, facilitating transformation and personal growth. In essence, the wisdom of Gaia and the elementals serves as a compass for the modern seeker navigating the complexities of contemporary existence. It offers a reminder of the inherent harmony of the universe, the sacredness of all life, and the transformative power of aligning oneself with the rhythms of the earth. The ancient teachings, though shrouded in the mists of time, still hold relevance in today's world, offering guidance, healing, and a pathway towards a more conscious and balanced existence. This ancient wisdom, it seems, is not just a relic of bygone eras, but rather a prescient understanding that aligns with some of the most cutting-edge scientific discoveries of our time. Quantum physics, the study of the minutest building blocks of the universe, has now begun to reveal a world much in line with the teachings of Gaia and the elementals. It posits a universe where everything is interconnected, where particles separated by vast distances can influence each other instantaneously, a phenomenon known as quantum entanglement. This echoes the elemental belief in the interconnectedness of all things, suggesting that we are indeed part of a vast, intricate web of energy and consciousness. Similarly, the concept of energy found in Gaia's teachings finds correlation in the scientific understanding. Energy, according to physics, can neither be created nor destroyed, but can only change form. This parallels the elemental belief in the cyclical nature of energy, as symbolized by the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The constant ebb and flow of energy, its eternal dance of transformation, is a central tenet of both ancient wisdom and modern science. Further extending this correlation, the concept of consciousness, central to the wisdom of Gaia, has now become a legitimate field of scientific inquiry. The nature of consciousness, once the exclusive domain of philosophers and mystics, is now being probed by neuroscientists and quantum physicists alike. While science has yet to fully unravel the mysteries of consciousness, its exploration points towards the profound insight that consciousness is not a byproduct of the brain, but a fundamental aspect of the universe itself. This aligns with the ancient wisdom that posits consciousness as the underpinning of all creation, the primal source from which all life emerges. In essence, the wisdom of Gaia and the elementals anticipated many of the ideas now being explored by quantum physics and the study of energy and consciousness. This convergence of ancient wisdom and modern science is not a mere coincidence, but a testament to the timeless insights of our ancestors. It is a testament to a worldview that sees the universe not as a collection of separate objects, but as a complex system of dynamic, interrelated parts, a worldview that honors the sacredness of all life and promotes a deeper connection with the spirit of the earth. Such a perspective has the potential to reshape our understanding of reality, bridging the gap between science and spirit, and leading us towards a more holistic and integrated worldview. It invites us to look beyond the surface of things, to peer into the depths of existence, and to immerse ourselves in the mystery and magic of the cosmos. It calls us to remember our origins, to honor our connection to the earth, and to reclaim our place in the grand symphony of life. In the quiet whisper of the wind, the soft murmur of a river, the bold roar of a thunderstorm, we hear the voice of Gaia, the spirit of the earth. In the dance of the fire, the flow of water, the breath of air, and the strength of the earth, we witness the vitality of the elementals. Through the wisdom of these ancient teachings, we perceive the divine rhythm of existence, a cosmic pattern that extends from the smallest quantum particle to the vastness of the cosmos. Each element, each creature, each star, each galaxy partakes in this grand cosmic dance, contributing its unique melody to the symphony of the universe. The wisdom of Gaia and the elementals invites us to see ourselves not as separate entities, but as integral parts of this cosmic symphony. It challenges us to shift away from an egocentric perspective, to dissolve the illusion of separateness, and to embrace a more interconnected and holistic understanding of existence. In doing so, we begin to recognize the divine spark within us, the eternal consciousness that is the source of our being and the essence of our soul. This divine spark, this eternal consciousness, is our true nature. It is the part of us that transcends the limitations of time and space, that exists beyond the confines of the physical body. It is the part of us that is connected to all life, that resonates with the spirit of the earth, and that echoes the music of the cosmos. It is the part of us that is eternal, that survives the cycle of birth and death, and that embarks on an endless journey of evolution and transformation. In the silent spaces of our being, in the quiet moments of reflection, we can connect with this divine spark, this eternal consciousness. We can tune into the wisdom of Gaia and the elementals, and we can attune ourselves to the rhythm of the cosmos. In doing so, we open ourselves to profound insights and deep wisdom. We begin to perceive the sacredness of all life, the interconnectedness of all things, and the divine nature within us. In this state of heightened awareness, we realize that we are not merely observers of the cosmic dance, but active participants in it. We realize that we have the potential to shape the course of our destiny, to contribute to the evolution of the universe, and to co-create our reality. We realize that we are not separate from the universe, but one with it, an integral part of the divine whole. In the end, the wisdom of Gaia and the elementals is a mirror that reflects our divine nature, a light that illuminates our eternal journey, and a song that resonates with the music of our soul. It is an ancient wisdom that echoes with timeless truths, a sacred knowledge that speaks of the spirit of the earth and the cosmos, and a mystical path that leads us towards enlightenment and awakening. It is a path that beckons us to remember who we truly are, divine beings on an eternal journey, dancing to the rhythm of the cosmos and partaking in the grand symphony of life. Thanks for listening. This has been Ancient Spiritual Knowledge. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.